All right. Welcome to episode 2 of the Bin Podcast European version with me and some strange dude that I don't really know. Who are you?
I am the Wayne maker. No, it's me, Wayne. I'm over here in the UK. Just chilling. Just put the kids to bed, eating a microwavable pizza, and talking to some weird, drunk, snide Viking.
Somebody else here?
Oh no, sir! It is definitely you.
Oh, okay. Only thing you got right is that I'm drunk.
Yeah, because there's no way you could be a Viking. Look at them spaghetti arms.
No. Dude, they would have killed me before I even got a chance to,
They would have whittled your bones into like daggers.
Yeah, no, like yeah, it would just be a bad time for everybody having me as a fucking Viking, dude. Like, why would you do that? It's like, I've told this quite a few times. If you ever see my name on a ballot, please do not vote for me. It's a very bad time for everybody involved.
Mm-hmm.
Please.
Or if you see your name pop up on like a podcast, pay no attention.
Please do, and go to patreon.com. Which I do have to apologize for. I was supposed to dance around naked in the snow, which didn't happen because I don't have snow at the moment. It's ice, and I can't bake ice.
Which is terrible, because it's not fun in any way, shape, or form. It's like fake snow. You can't make a snowball out of it. You can't, run around and have jollies in it. Nah, it's just ice. And then you just get wet and cold and horrible.
I feel like we do have to respond to one thing.
Okay.
Is she right? Have I never worn the hat on the show before?
You've worn it once, I believe. Again, thanks for supporting the stuff that I sort out for us.
And Neil, sit down. And Wayne, can you please stop writing stuff in
Observer, yes.
You are not allowed to write things in our own chat. You are not allowed to do that. We have talked about this quite a few times.
The Observer is one of the finest people I know.
Yes, because it's you.
And he's a very talented man. He's very good at Rocket League also.
Oh, so he's 5.
Put that on your CV.
So he's 5. All right, that's cool.
Oh, shut up. He's one of our supporters. So wind your neck in. Oh, I've gone already. Yeah, so what are we discussing this week, Kjartan?
Oh, Jesus Christ. I've got so much thing on my mind, but this is a problem, right? When we are sort of talking about European stuff, I always feel like I have to give like a backstory.
Yeah.
Because most of you might know that I'm, into politics, and I care a
No,
lot about
no,
politics.
fuck off.
But
Fuck off.
of course, of course, a lot of the politics that I mainly interest myself in is um, Swedish and Norwegian politics. So everything takes a bit of time. We sort of have to explain this to people what we're doing, and so I thought that we'll start off on a softball.
Mm-hmm.
What's Boris been up to?
Um, Nothing. Basically, having a little jolly up to Scotland and getting everyone wound up about it, and telling everyone else to stay at home. But he's had a little walk up to Scotland and had a little look around the plant, which, oh, there's a brilliant story. There was an outbreak at the plant that he visited 24 hours before he arrived, and he still went.
No, that's not true. Is it really?
Yeah, straight up. Straight up, there was an outbreak of COVID at the plant that he went to go and look at, and he still went. And all his advisors are saying, probably shouldn't go. Nicola Sturgeon's going, no, he should give it a miss. And he still went. And he was like that.
Oh, fuck me.
Typical Boris. And then the next day, his press secretaries and stuff just tried to run interference.
Only fucking Boris could do that.
We knew nothing about it.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, so that's what's going on over here. So, Kjartan, as a resident of Sweden, but not an EU citizen because you come from Norway,
Yes, I am.
could you dispel some of the myths that are going on about Sweden? Because as we've spoken before,
No.
where you going?
We fucked up. Mummy's here.
Oh, sorry, Brenna. So,
What are we drinking?
Kjartan, what are you drinking, sir?
I am having the gold sauce.
Mm-hmm.
The sauce of gold. Yes. The cheapest beer like you can actually buy in Sweden.
Really?
Yeah.
Surely that's diesel.
No, petrol's cheaper, dude.
Okay.
For some reason, diesel is more expensive than petrol over here.
I'm sticking to form and still clinging on to the bin 50 by having my bin 50 Shiraz.
Ooh.
Lindeman's reach out for a sponsorship because I can't be paying for this stuff anymore.
Short shit. All right. Where were we? Yeah, all right. So Sweden, yeah. What's going on in Sweden? So Sweden don't do track and trace.
Mm-hmm.
So if you go to a restaurant or a bar, because you can still get servings up until 8 o'clock, right?
Mm-hmm. Can I just stop you there?
Yeah.
Can anyone who hears the myths from the right-wing media use this eyewitness testimony as a person who lives in that country to invalidate the claims that the right-wing media are using to say Sweden is the nuts? Please, thank you. Continue.
So yeah, the views and opinions of Kjartan is the views and opinion of Kjartan and do not reflect the views and opinion of the Bin Podcast. But yes, so basically, after a year into this pandemic, the Swedish government actually got a pandemic law through, and it's not the sitting government's fault. I have to say that. I have to put that caveat in because of the parliamentarism and the way that our political system is built. You need a majority in parliament, and because of the sitting government that we have right now, don't have a majority in the parliament. They got voted down when they tried to do this back in April last year. So, but we finally have a pandemic law going through, but it's absolutely meaningless, right? So now you have to have a certain amount of square footage per customer to go into to stores and all of that, but you don't have to sign in. You don't have to give your name. You don't have to leave your telephone number or anything to go into that store or that restaurant, right? Which basically means that you don't know who's been there, and you're leaving it up to store owners to take responsibility to go out in public and go like, "Hey, we've had a corona outbreak in our restaurant. Everybody who's been here for the last 2 weeks need to, get tested." Of course, they won't do that because it would basically kill their business. So they'll. There's no track and trace. Nobody knows. Sweden sort of claims that you know, they shut the border towards Norway because, of the mutated virus that has been raging around Norway.
All
Norway,
right,
by
whoa,
the
whoa,
way,
whoa, 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 whoa. Hang on. What mutated virus has been going around Norway? What is the variant that they're calling it?
the UK one.
The UK one, yeah.
Mm.
That's right.
Don't look so proud. Anyways, so basically, Sweden, when they closed their borders, so Sweden's got 12,000 dead in this pandemic. Norway's got 500. Yes, Norway has half the population of Sweden, but the difference is quite noticeable. Yes? And they go like, let's shut our borders, and let's shut our borders to a country who has less spread than we do.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's like,
we're kind of doing. There's a revelation this week that
aren't we past fucking symbolic gestures by now?
Yeah, exactly that. Because we have just introduced a policy of, I think it's 33 countries that we're not allowing people in unless they unless they stay in a quarantine hotel for 10 days at their own cost, right? But this is the kicker. The countries on that list, only one of them is in the top 10 of high COVID reproduction. America, come on in. Right? France, come on in. Spain, come on in. Brazil, nah, you're going to have to quarantine. So even that, for me, it's a political measure. We don't want to piss off our closest allies. So America, if you want to come here, yeah, have at it. Even though America, we know what the shitstorm is of America.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyone else, it's a free for all. And the 33 countries that we've put on a list are nowhere near the top of the people. Sorry, the top of the countries that have the highest replication rate. So, what's the point? Places like Australia and New Zealand, who are island nations, have the same ability as us to say, nope, not coming in. But because we're too influenced by the libertarian wing of our right wing government, we're just allowing anything to come in just to make it look good and appease certain people, saying, "Oh, look, we've had a go at it, but we're not actually doing anything that's noticeable. We're doing it just as window dressing, if you will."
No, but that's what it is. It's fucking window dressing, dude.
Definitely. Let me. I'll go. Continue. I'll get the list of the 33 countries going.
Yeah, I was just looking at the numbers here. Just give me a second. I'll take them up. Let's do the world. Let's see. So let's do the Nordic countries, right?
Yep. Let's do this.
So,
We're live fact checking each other.
live fact checking. So, per 100,000 people, Sweden has 5,822 infected. Norway has 1,203. That's 1/5. Sweden has 120 per 100,000. Norway has 10.8. 1/12. 1/12 of Sweden. And when Sweden closes the border to somebody, they close it to Norway? Really?
Well, let me give you the list, the 33, and I'm going to do this in alphabetical order. Angola, Argentina, Bolivia, Botswana, Brazil. Oh, there's one. Burundi, Cape Verde, Chile, Colombia, the Democratic Republic of Congo, Ecuador, Eswatini. I've never heard of that. Eswatini. French Guinea, Guyana, Malawi, Mauritius, Mozambique, Namibia, Panama, Paraguay, Peru, Portugal, including Madeira in the Azores, Rwanda, Seychelles. Rwanda? Arsenal got T-shirts with "Visit Rwanda" on today.
What?
Yeah, that's one of our sponsors.
Okay, so but do you really watch hockey over there? I didn't know you had that much ice.
Rwanda.
Yeah, but Arsenal, that's a hockey team, right?
You're a fucking idiot. By the way, I've got a funny story to talk about Arsenal later. Seychelles, South Africa, Tanzania, the UAE, Uruguay, Venezuela, Zambia, Zimbabwe. No mention of America, no mention of France, no mention of Spain, no mention of Italy, Germany, or any other.
Eswatini used to be called Swaziland.
Oh, okay. Isn't that Zimbabwe?
Rwanda,
Oh, okay.
right?
I don't know.
Fact checkers.
Yeah, I'm not going to sit here and I am shit at geography. I can read it, I can point at it, and that's it.
Why would they have a hockey team? No fucking Arsenal, Jenna. Jesus Christ. Yeah. So okay. So let's look at the status in the world. You want to do infected or dead?
There's no daddy or chips, is it? Infected or
Nope.
dead? Wow, what a conundrum. I'll go with dead because it's a little bit more absolute than infected.
All right. So let's skip San Marino, which is in the top of the list, because
I don't count.
what, there are like 5 people in there and 2 of them died. So you know,
And they like a principality anyway.
yeah. So worst per 100,000 dead is actually Belgium, followed by Slovenia, Great Britain, the Czech Republic, Italy, Bosnia Herzegovina, Northern Macedonia, and then the US. And then we go on Portugal, Andorra, Hungary, Bulgaria. A lot of European countries in here. Spain. Then we go into Mexico, Peru, Panama, and then we Croatia, and then we got Sweden.
We should do a new Eurovision Song Contest, but Eurovision Dead Contest.
Yeah, why? We're really doing shit over here, dude. So in the top 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 9 out of 10 countries on the top 10 per capita dead list are European.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, not to keep harking back to the right-wing media, the right-wing media will use that as a reason to ban freedom of movement. They will use that all day long.
But how will they justify that in this pandemic? How will they justify banning traveling, like because the right wingers they still want to go to Spain, don't they?
Yeah,
And France.
yeah. Well, there was a interesting thing that came out just this week over here where they're talking about
I'm no. I'm sorry.
vaccine passports.
Massively fucking surprised. 9 out of 10 countries per capita dead are fucking European.
Hmm. Well, let me
I learned something.
let me hark back to what I was just saying.
I got a
Um,
headache, mate.
excellent. Greece were reported to be um, open to the idea of vaccine passports. So if you've had the vaccine and you've got a legitimate stamp, you can go to Greece, right? But the way the vaccines are being rolled out over here is we're starting from the highest risk groups and moving down the tiers as decreed by what the government say is the riskiest. So what the press are doing is trying to sort of like pit the young against the old. Even on LBC, they're advertising Saga cruises for the over 50s, and they're highlighting if you've had the vaccine, then you can get on one of our cruises. And someone made the brilliant point of saying, "Hang on a minute, wasn't it all these cruise ships where it really burst out massively?" And they was having like cruise ships like hanging off the coast of Japan saying, "Nope, you can't come here." On the coast of America, nope, you can't come here, or you're infected and stuff. And now they're advertising holidays as long as you got the vaccine. What?
Yeah,
It's a madness. It's an absolute madness. But again, it helps sell papers and it helps pit young against old and different group against different group. And yeah, it fascinates me how this media
yeah.
world that we live in works.
Um. Uh, so he says, "Shut it down. Shut it all
Yep,
down."
yep, yeah. I would concur with that, right? Because if the cycle of infection lasts, what they say, a maximum of 2 weeks, right? Let's make sure everyone's got enough food and enough gas and electric and everything else to be able to stay at home for 2 weeks. Okay,
Yeah,
let's do that. Then there's no excuse. You can stay at home and you have people patrolling the streets. What the fuck are you doing out, mate? Yeah, no, get indoors. And that's how they dealt with it in New Zealand. But New Zealand obviously has got a much smaller population than the UK. And New Zealand, I think, is 5 million people, whereas we've got 9 million in London alone. So, and to be able to do that will prove problematic. But at the same time, if people want to be serious about this, and it is a major thing, then
but
let's
you
just
mean the
do that.
city of Westminster because the city of London is quite small, isn't it?
Yeah, the city of London is different to Greater London.
Yes.
The city of London is actually used to have a walled perimeter, and it
Yes.
has its own police force or service. Sorry.
Yeah,
There you
but
go,
okay.
pads.
Hey, I knew something, and it wasn't incorrect right off the bat.
No, you're right.
Yeah,
The city of London and Greater London are two different entities. You're correct.
yeah. City of Westminster is the biggest part of Greater London, right?
No, it's the city of London.
Is that the biggest part of
No,
Greater London?
it's one of the smallest parts. It's like a square
Yeah, no,
mile.
I said the city of Westminster is the bigger part of the Greater London area, right?
No,
Oh, okay. Well,
no. Westminster is a very small part of Greater London. The city of London, which is where it's not even where the financial district is anymore because the financial district is now in
yeah, it's
Canary
actually
Wharf.
the city of London is an area of 1.12 square miles.
Yes, it's tiny. That's why they call it the square mile.
Huh.
But they've got their own police force. They have, instead of having the black and white checkerboard on the hats, they have a black and white and red checkerboard on the hats. There you
Huh?
go.
There you go. There you go.
Just dropping
All
some
right. The Greater London built-up area consists of.
a lot of boroughs.
Yes. I'm not going to read all this.
No, don't.
Uh, Jesus Christ, your country's fucked up. All right. Uh,
It's rich. You're an
what?
immigrant.
Am I?
Yeah.
I thought I was a refugee.
Depends how you look at it, mate. You could be an
Uh,
expat if you like.
I'm something. Let's just agree on that.
Um, something. Yeah. That's yeah. Let's probably not explore that.
No.
No, let's not.
Hey. By the way, can we talk a little bit more about Sweden? Is that okay with you?
Mate, this is the whole point of this portion of our show, because
All
a
right.
lot of the time our focus is on the States, and we neglect stuff that's going on over here and over in your backwards country as well. So,
Yeah.
sorry, your backwards refugee country that you've fled
Yeah.
to. So continue. I'm all ears, mate, because I'm the
So
student.
here's the deal. Over the last, I would say, 15 years, but it might be the last 20 years. I've only lived here for 12. We've seen, but let's do this. Let's do it. It's very anecdotal. For the 12 years that I've been here, I've seen a paradigm shift within the Swedish political system where it shifts right more and more and more and more, where we privatize, where we give more and more power to the private entities. We vote more to the right towards a capitalist system, uh, and I'm struggling. I'm really struggling to understand why Sweden is doing this. Sweden, that used to be, the high castle of of socialism,
Mm.
of
We did cover this on the main show that you weren't in. But
yeah, I know.
continue.
But what we've seen a paradigm shift, and that's basically what caused where we are right now, where we have such a divided and tribalist population that we can't really agree on anything. We can't really
Yeah.
find anything, and it's even hard to try to be any sort of to find any sort of objectivity within a discussion, even if it's somebody that I fundamentally agree with. They sort of take this very on their heels stance as soon as you go,
Mm.
but this shit isn't really right. And I've tried to get that through in our show as well. Like, even
Yeah.
though I fundamentally agree with the Social Democratic Party over here, uh, they've done shit that has been horrible, and I don't feel like it's bad to point that out. Like, we
Mm.
did that back in the 40s. Like, the party that I voted for, they did that back in the 40s. Okay.
I think everything's become binary, 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 binary. So you start off with a massive chunk, you cut it in half, and then do you fall in this half or this half? And then within that, they've cut it and cut it and cut it and cut it. So even though you might be left leaning, they'll give you a conundrum, and within that conundrum, you're either this or you're that. You're not kind of in that nuanced middle. Everything has to be binary. You're either for or against, and that is true of, I would say, most liberal democracies around the world. Because you can be a lefty, but you're not a proper lefty because you don't agree with this. So people will attack you for that. Or you can be a right winger, but you're not a proper right winger because you don't believe in this, that, or the other. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I don't really agree with that, because one of the
Okay.
things that one of the things is that I'm more than just leaning left. I'm as far as left as you can go without becoming a full-blown fucking communist, right? I
Yeah, but
believe in
but there are people that will say you're not left enough because you don't tick these particular boxes. This is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
You
no,
can
no,
say
I
that.
don't. Yeah, but what I'm saying is like, why is it wrong if you're leaning left to say, hey, the left got a shit ton of stuff wrong over the years, right? A
Mm-hmm.
shit ton of stuff.
Yeah.
We and But I don't stand for, Stalinistic fucking Marxist Leninist fucking values where you kill 50 million people over 30 years to further your communist ideas. I don't stand with that just
Mm.
because I lean towards socialism. Right?
Yeah.
I don't have to agree with everything within that paradigm to feel like this is the way that we should go ahead. And what I think that we forget is, and what I've been trying to get across on our main show as well, is that sometimes we hold people who lean right. We sort of say you have to agree with everything that right says if you go right.
Mm. Again,
Ah,
this is
we've
where this.
done that. We've done that. We've done
No,
that
but no,
quite
no,
a
but
few times.
no, but this is where the nuance comes in. So we can say that, but then when you start to dissect what's actually been said, you can say, okay, well, this particular item or article that someone has written or said fits that bill, but then over here they're saying the complete opposite, and this is where I think like having again this paradigm of left or right is so overly nuanced that we don't appreciate people's individual faults. We just dismiss it and say, "Oh, you're a right wing nutcase, you're a left wing nutcase," and everyone else is just kind of standing there like, "What?" I agree with certain things on the right, and I agree with certain things on the left. But what I don't want to sort of get bogged down in is dismissing everyone and anyone for it. Does that make sense?
Yep, yep, does. Um, did you, by the way, see that Fox cancels Lou Dobbs show?
Yeah, too right. Going straight against what I just said.
I just had to say that. Jenna says there's nothing wrong with talking against the left. What the left does, even if you're on the left, a smart critical thinker always questions their
Yeah,
size, and they should.
100%. 100%.
I think that Jenna just said what we wanted to say with just better words.
Yeah, and less words.
Yeah. Thank you, Jenna, for making our point come across for us.
Yeah.
There is always a spot for you here on the Ben Podcast. Let's move on because I wanted to talk a bit about. I want to talk a bit about you,
In your
Wayne.
own time. In your own
I want to
time.
talk. I want to talk about you for a bit, Wayne.
Oh, don't. There's nothing to talk about.
But you're in a complete fucking lockdown. You're in your bubble, right?
No.
You're supposed to be.
I go to work every day, Kjartan.
Yeah, that's what I want to talk about.
It's a nonsense. It's an absolute nonsense.
Can you please tell us the blatant fucking hypocrisy of what's going on? Because your fucking story, it upsets me quite a bit. If you're right with it, you can talk about it. If you don't want to,
No, I'm fine. I
just say,
mean,
just say
no,
pineapple or something.
no, that's your safe word.
Oh, that's a safe word, you absolute twat.
Right, so my job title is a domestic energy assessor. I go around and do energy assessments on houses, look at the efficiency of houses and everything like that. When you buy and sell a house, you have to have what's known as a EPC, an energy performance certificate. So if you're selling a house, you have to have that in place. I am still allowed to go to multiple houses every day, go into multiple houses every day, and carry out these assessments, which means I'm going into strangers' homes, touching their shit that they've all breathed over.
But it's consensual
What do you mean?
when you're touching their stuff.
Oh yeah, I always look them in the eye.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm supposed to be in lockdown. Yeah, my job is still classed as a trade, like any gas fitter or builder, any tradesman. You're exempt from that if you're doing your job. But the hypocrisy is, if I was to, Kjartan, we'll use you as an example. If I was to come to your house and do your EPC, right, that's absolutely fine. But I then couldn't sit outside your house and have a cup of tea with you. I then couldn't socialise with you. But if I'm working in that capacity, even though the risk is exactly the fucking same, it's null and void. And my problem is, I can't be furloughed because my work are off, or I'm saying, well, I am allowed to work, so I can't be furloughed. Which means if I said I didn't want to go to work, I would have to declare myself unable to work, which would mean I'd have to go to statutory sick pay, which is like £90 a week or some stuff like that. So the problem I have is, even if I were showing symptoms and I went on to sick pay, I couldn't afford to live because I couldn't be furloughed. If I could be furloughed, then I could cover the bills. And this is the paradox that so many people in the UK are having. Your work is available, you must go to work. If you can't go to work, or you declare yourself unable to go to work, you go into sick pay. Statutory sick pay is pathetic. So my thing is, if I feel that I'm unsafe going into a job or going to a particular job, I shouldn't have to go to that job. But the government decrees are different, and it's frustrating as you like, because I don't want to be going into someone's house where like the usual risk assessments stand. If I knock on a door and there's like a big dog, and I say there's a big dog, I don't want to go in there. My work would be, yeah, that's fine. But if I go in there and say, oh, I think they might have coronavirus in this house, it's like, how do you know that? I don't. I don't.
No, nobody's breathing. They're all dead.
Yeah. Yeah. This geezer's taking his last breath to open the door. Come in, boy.
We need to sell this house.
The boiler's over there. The gas meter's under the stairs.
Oh,
Just
Jesus
put me
Christ.
out.
No. We're not making jokes about people dying of corona. That's
No,
horrible.
We're not.
No.
We're making
No.
jokes of the actual scenario that I operate under.
No, it's just insane, dude. Yeah, I'm sorry, I guess.
Why are you sorry? You ain't got fuck all to do with you.
No. Well,
But even in your job, like what you do, you're constantly coming into contact with alien objects that you don't know where they've been, and especially the fact that they might be in a deep freeze, which means certain things last a bit longer. So, what's the situation there?
people still need their shit, dude.
Yeah,
I don't mind, I get, the transport sector still has to be going. People still need to get food. People still need to
yeah,
get
but
stuff.
they
But
are essentials.
but
They are
no,
essentials.
yeah, but that's not what I'm doing. I'm
Selling a house is not an essential.
No, and basically what I do is that I hold materials to build on your house and electronics, because people buy electronics like crazy.
Well, like microphones and boom arms.
Yeah, might be. Yeah, all right. Now you have to tell the story.
No, I'm just leaving it there. I'm
No,
just
no, no. Now it sounds like I bought a new microphone, a boom arm. Mine is fine. I'm good. I don't need a microphone. I don't need a boom arm. You need to tell the story.
no.
You.
I think we need to leave that as part of the bin podcast mythology. Why did
All
he
right.
say that at that particular time?
I have not bought a new mic or a boom arm. Somebody else has gotten one. An unknown individual.
Mm-hmm. Oh, maybe it's Chicken Anonymous.
Why would we buy somebody who gives us money stuff?
As a gift.
Now, this is not a charity, mate.
Yeah, no, fucking ain't.
On that note, if you want to give us your money, I guess that Wayne is going to tell you how right about now.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, you are.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, you are.
It's a union break. I ain't having it. If you want to support our lovely podcast, please go to patreon.com/the bin podcast and become one of our patrons. There are many tiers. There are certain tiers that give you very, very good benefits, especially the £100 tier. Oh, what do we do it in? Is it £100 or £100 or euros or what?
Let's do
Kjartan?
pound. The pound is strong shit
£100.
right now. Let's do pound. Let's do pound.
£100 here. You can get my good friend here, Kjartan, doing ridiculous stuff in the snow for your entertainment, for your personal entertainment. But what it does, it helps us out because at the end of the day, we give up our time to do this, and we're trying to make it as informative as possible. We're trying to spread the news from several countries at the same time, and at the same time give our opinion on it. It's it's a labour of love, but we would like to be compensated from it if you find benefit from what we do. So we're trying our best, and well, some more than others. People that turn up every week.
So, we've had a good time. It was a lot of fun.
You're such a dick.
Yes,
Yeah,
I
so
am. Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
patreon.com/the bin podcast. Sign up wherever you feel comfortable, and if you're in a position to do that, jump in, help us out, and try and carry us on to making this thing bigger, having bigger and better guests on, doing more shows like this.
Why
Because
don't you give them a bit of a teaser what we've got going on for next week?
that sounds like a prod. For instance, the next week, Thursday, 8 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, 9 p.m.
Real
Central
time, real time, real
Real
time.
Time, 9 p.m. Central European Time, 12 p.m. Pacific, and 2 p.m. Central. We have friend of the show and absolute legend, Professor Howe, coming on to do live experiments. That's right, live experiments for you, and you get it for free. You're getting it for free. But
This time.
if you appreciate it, then just give us a couple of cut of quid. You know what I mean? This is what we're doing for you. So yeah, next week Professor Howe is coming on. He's going to do 3 experiments live with some jabroni called Kjartan.
Yes. I'm gonna
And
get to do science.
we're going to teach this snide Viking trucker snowmobile faller offer some actual science. So please come along and watch what we do. It'll be
Yes.
entertaining.
And we have a very important question from Jenna.
How much do I need to get? Take all my money. Well, Jenna, what I'll do, I'll send you my bank details, and what you need to do is empty your entire account into that, and that'll get you a hat. No, we're working on the merch.
Yeah, we're working on the merge. We do have a problem. If somebody has ever been into what's it called again? Spreadshirt. Know how to design shirts, or do have an international fucking printer service that they can tip us off about, because I'm having troubles getting Spreadshirt to put more than one logo on our shirt. So if you know anybody who's got anything to say about that,
Jenna, depend what sort of hat would you like? Because we've got two designs. We've got the classic bin flat peak baseball cap, and we have
in
the
Fortnite.
and we have the new. There's only one available. Bin bobble hat. So
That's a beanie, basically.
no, it's a bubble, yeah, but it's a bobble hat. It's got a bubble on it.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, let me
So
know. Let me know
there's
what design
nothing
you'd
wrong
like.
with my prostate, but I need to use the loo.
Okay.
Is that okay with you, Wayne?
Yeah, not a problem. Can you do me a favour? Can you just quickly? Oh, actually, no. I'm gonna have to find the screen myself. I have to log into Twitter and all that. Oh God, that's gonna be long. Yeah. So, Kjartan, if you wanna do one.
Yeah, I'm gonna do one. I'll be right back, and Wayne's gonna keep you entertained.
Yeah, I'm gonna get my tap shoes on and have at it. But yeah, anyone in chat, we are trying to branch out with our merch because I'm the one who sorts it out, to be fair. So anything that you want, any ideas, please let me know. I'm just going to quickly jump into, because I'm not even on the. There we go. Yeah. Yeah. Any merch. This is basically our branding, and it's got Be Informed now underneath it. We do this on hats, we do it on the bobble hats, and many different t-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies. We can do it on absolutely anything. So if you're interested in supporting us, then we will get that shipped out to you wherever you are in the world, because we have an amazing merch guy, friend of mine. And as soon as we know what we're getting, I'll get it made up, either printed, embroidered like these, and then yeah, we'll just get it sent out to you. We'll obviously do it at a decent price, and all you have to do is just pay for the thing and shipping. And even though I'm in the UK, which is outside of the EU right now, we can still get stuff out. We're not a little isolated system. We can actually get stuff out. And that was my merch chat.
Yeah. So Jenna's she did what's that called again when you do this?
A dab.
Yeah, her dab went like elbow cough.
Elbow cough, elbow cough. Yeah, when I saw that, I was like, "Is she?" I thought it was a wrestling reference, because like collar and elbow is how you lock up in wrestling.
Yeah,
And I
but
was,
I think that when I look at the chat, it looks like she's doing like a dab,
yeah, but
but
then when
then
you
it
look
says
at
elbow cough.
it, yeah. So there's me sitting there thinking, has she got ties with collar and elbow? And collar and elbow is this how you
Yeah,
lock up in wrestling. So,
but it's legal where she is.
well, on YouTube it looks fine. Yeah, it does, but we're in a different world over here.
Yeah. StreamYards and YouTube don't quite elaborate. All right. What do Britain need to change what they're doing?
A new prime minister. That bit. We've got Boris Johnson. He literally is posh Trump. He's posh Trump. He does anything that is, as far as he's concerned, or his advisors are concerned, publicly amenable, as in the general consensus is this is what the public will go for, so you just do this, and hence the travel restrictions, which mean absolutely nothing, but it makes it look like they're doing something. A bit like Trump's Muslim ban. Remember?
Yep.
I mean, it looks like we're doing something, but we're not actually doing anything.
I just find it funny that this is push anything.
No, that's it. That's him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's push Trump.
Yeah.
Keep that in mind, ladies and gentlemen. This is push Trump. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. But he's not the same colour as I don't know, a really bad fake tan. So we're doing all right, I suppose. But the thing we spoke about the other day was we have a less compliant populace, in the sense of we have a very libertarian, very you can't tell me what to do kind of attitude towards government, and that has been since the early 80s, late 70s, early 80s, where government has been seen to be an interfering entity, whereas post-war government was, oh, you're the nuts, you can do no wrong. And that has stemmed from capitalist vested interests that want to make sure that they can take profit out of anything that's private. Anything that's social. So social housing, NHS, public schools, or public schools, they call them in public schools in America, but private schools over here. Anything that is publicly funded, there's always a vested interest trying to make money out of it. So the client media tend to run down anything that is socially funded. They call it socialism, and that has kind of wormed its way into the general consciousness that anything socially funded is a bad thing. Anything that is any public sector worker is a bad person if they go on strike, and that's just wormed its way into the consciousness from, as I say, late 70s, early 80s, because the whole sort of Reaganomics, Thatcheronomics attitude has benefited so many people, and those so many people, as Brenner put so articulately, they've got something that and they don't want to give it back. They're like, no, we're all right. We're all right. You can't have it. And yeah, shout out to Brenner Duncan.
You see this?
Mm-hmm.
You see this?
I want a real European. Where's Irish Swede? Okay.
Let's let's take a moment of silence for the death of dignity of Mikey Famine.
Yeah. Mikey Famine, yeah, because he's got a famine of ideas.
I thought that like his low point when he started that gay site, but he just
it bought him his Mini Cooper.
Yeah, he bought him a Mini Cooper, but he just hit a new low right there. Yeah.
I love the fact that he's not here.
Yeah, me too. If you want to see more of Mikey Famine, please go to thedeviants.com and no, please don't. No, please don't.
Is Mikey about? Does Mikey want to come in?
I don't know. I don't care. No, he's not getting it. He's got the fuck. Like he's the one who's actually owns this. He's the supervisor of all this shit. So he probably will jump in.
Just give him a right to reply. Mikey, do you want to quickly jump in?
No, please don't. Please don't. Brenna said we love Mikey. No, Brenna, you love Mikey. yeah, driving, Google Eats or something. I don't know. But yeah, right. So basically, all you have to do to change your political system is to change, just have an election and get a different prime minister. Is it really that easy though?
No, because it's the. I would say it's the collective psyche of the populace, because we literally have been dog whistled, we've been gaslit, we've everything as like the conversations that I have with people in my everyday life. I have to sit there and just sort of nod and smile and go, "Oh my god!" And I'm not trying to say that I'm some intellectually superior, like, I don't know, professor or something. I'm just sitting there and I'm seeing the same patterns over and over again of people that just believe what they're told and don't question things. And there's that famous picture of the a group of Nazis, and they're all sitting there Sieg Heiling and whatnot. And there's this one fella like that. I'm like, I'm that geezer. What's going on here? But I want to know what's going on truly. I'm not just going to believe like anything we say, anything that we broadcast and project. I want to be checked on that. If someone comes at me with something that I've said that is inaccurate, I want that to be fact checked. And if I get it wrong, I just go wrong, which I've done many times on the show when I get stuff wrong, because you don't learn until you get stuff wrong.
Yeah, that's the difference between you and me. Like, you get stuff wrong, I don't. But all right, say it.
No,
I'm still gonna
no,
drink it.
you're not worth it. You're not worth it. Not on
Oh,
that
you
front.
absolutely shut up,
To to
Barry.
to to have that bare face arrogance to say that sort of statement and let it stand. No, no, correct yourself, Kjartan. Come on, correct yourself.
There has not been anybody who has been so many times wrong on this podcast as me.
I know.
I blurt stuff out because I'm a bit of a fuckhead, and I know that I am,
hmm But
and I'm fine with it.
and this is the thing is this is kind of a theme that we need to sort of get across to people. There's nothing wrong with being wrong. Absolutely nothing wrong with being wrong. If
And
someone
there's
said
nothing wrong with being opinionated either.
no, that's fine. But if
And he won't say it. I tried to get him to say it, but he didn't.
yeah, there's nothing wrong with being wrong, and you only learn when you get stuff wrong, because you don't then go and do it again. But if you then go and do it again, oh, I think that's called what? Insanity. So, wind your neck in.
Oh, finally. Cheers.
Cheers.
All right. Why don't we take a minute?
Well, you're driving
And
this shit show.
yeah, and let's talk about Russia. I know that you talked about it on the main show, but it's technically part of it's in Europe.
I'm not saying Magnitsky Act. I did it. I did it.
You did. But I want to talk a bit and I'm probably going to butcher this name, and that's kind of funny because my name is Kjartan Rowan. Alexei Navalny.
Kjartan Rain.
So Alexei Navalny and the protest that's been going on, right?
Yeah.
Just the fact that people protest.
Sorry, didn't one of your diplomats get ejected from Russia? Yeah.
Yep. That happened. Oh, we're in for a world of hurt now.
Well, look what we have here. Look what we have here. Huh. What's up, internet world? How's everyone enjoying the show? Fucking phone is getting covered in ice right now, but I'll be damned if I let you two wank.
The thing is, he can't even be asked to put it on landscape, you wanker.
I'm sorry, are you talking to me through Facebook on your laptop? Did you download that app on your laptop yet?
No.
There you go. You happy now?
There we go. There we go.
Yeah.
Now you look like a professional broadcaster.
Yeah.
Sort of. So, Sir Michael, he has to be a subject of the Queen to be that. So take that back, Jenna.
I don't even like.
And everybody say hey to Nathaniel, who's on the right side of the pond.
Yeah, get Nathaniel in here. Get somebody intelligent.
Wow. I feel attacked.
I don't.
Mikey, are you wearing an astrology mask?
It's constellations.
It's astrology. Pseudoscience.
Flat Earth. That's our next topic.
Oh, yeah, we need to get into that.
Yeah.
Is that big over there?
So,
it's growing, dude. It's fucking growing, and that's what pisses me off.
Well, this makes me want to finally endorse Kjartan's moon plan. And on that bombshell, back to the studio.
Oh, he just did that. Well done.
He might drop us on us. Dirty boy.
Ooh. Yes, fantastic. I'm sorry, guys. Wayne, say something intelligent for once.
Kjartan is a cunt.
Yeah, you're right.
What do I win?
A visit from our good friend.
Bring him in.
He's on his way. So here's the deal. The reason I invited this person in is because I actually needed to understand something that I did not understand, and still don't. So here we got Irish Swede, and I actually asked him for help. I did. I did, right?
Beyond help.
Yeah. So,
Swede, how you doing, mate? You all right?
I'm doing just fine.
Good to hear, man.
Good to have you, and thanks for jumping in, man. I know you're in the middle of Saturday running around with the kids, making dinner. But thanks for joining in, and let's jump into it because I know you might have to jump in at any time. So here's the deal: Harley Davidson have been increasing their stock prices, but by doing something that's called buybacks. I don't really understand it, and I've asked Irish Swede in here to explain to me how the stock price of Harley Davidson goes up while their sales go down. You're muted, dude.
At the very beginning of the video you sent, it tries to do a job of explaining it, but I mean the basic premise is this: if you issued 1,000 shares out to the market and you were making, and your profit is $1,000, you have $1 per share, revenue. And let's say you have a few very good years and you get some tax breaks, so you have some cash on hand and you go out to the market and you buy half of those shares back. So now there's only 500 shares outstanding, and your revenue's gone down to say $750. So your revenue's gone down, but your shares outstanding have gone down further. So now instead of $1 per share, you're at $1.50 per share earnings. And so even though your revenue has gone down, your revenue per share has gone up, and therefore your stock price will follow that. But you can imagine that the multiplier effect of reducing the number of shares works both ways. So if you're gonna start losing money, which Harley inevitably will because they're shooting themselves in the foot by doing this, when they start losing money, it amplifies the losses per share when it starts going to the other side.
So you're effectively explaining the GameStop phenomenon.
No.
That's happening.
No.
That's shorting.
This is something else. That's shorting stocks.
I thought buying back stocks is kind of the same thing. Is it not? Okay.
No, this is the company itself buying the stock back. Harley bought the stock back.
I thought that it was the same thing. That's why I spent 15, like an hour watching your video. But then I realized that was something completely different from what I thought it was. But
stock buybacks are an ethical dilemma because the board of directors who decides to do this has one major mandate, and that's their fiduciary duty to the shareholders, who are the owners of the company. And so if they go out and say, well, if we got, say, a couple billion cash on hand, where can we put this cash to work? And if they do all the math right and even correctly, and it comes back that their their ROI tells them that the best stock price ROI that they're going to get is from buying back shares rather than, say, investing in a new line or a new ad campaign or more marketing, they have to do what's quote unquote a fiduciary duty to their stockholders and go back and buy back stocks. And then there's the other ethical dilemma in that their compensation is usually based off stock performance itself. So they're incented to buy back stocks to pump their performance off of from the revenue.
So if someone independent of the company starts buying up the stock, which in the shorting thing goes on, that's completely different to the individual company buying it back because it doesn't actually improve their stock rate.
One is actually removing shares of stock completely from the market. Those shares, like the company can't just re-release those shares back to the market.
But what you're doing is as an independent of that company is artificially increasing the value of that by showing the movement in the market of the value of that share by it being sold.
Well, right? Not only that, but you're reducing the number of shares. And let's say your revenue stays even. Now your revenue per share goes up artificially because you're just removing shares from the market. So if let's say you kept $1,000 revenue.
So the share becomes more rarer. So, no, that makes.
You have more revenue per share after the stock buyback than you would before.
So that is the benefit of doing it.
If you're a shareholder, that's you love that.
Yeah. But why are there so many people going out saying by doing this they are basically shooting themselves in the foot? They are basically destroying their own company because it's
their customer base was my father, who is now 70 years old, who has sold his bike, on the used market and is not going to buy another bike.
So he's not going to buy a new one. Yeah.
They doubled down and sold bikes to my father's generation and the generations prior to that. But as you and I know, everything that our parents think is cool is uncool. In fact, it's so abhorrent to us that we make fun of our parents for decades because of what we think is uncool, because that's what they did. And also their marketing campaigns were absolute shite. They cornered themselves into a position of marketing to a very small group of people that, due to economics, have gotten the short end of the stick and no longer have the capability to buy bikes. on a regular basis. So not only is their customer base dying,
and especially not like $35,000 bikes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, because
because Harleys are ridiculously over.
You still have to have a car.
Yeah, no, but Harley Davidsons are ridiculously overpriced.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the thing. The most value in things like bikes such as that, an old Americana such as like Dodge Chargers, Plymouth, like Super Bs, all these things. It's all the secondary market, which is not going to the manufacturer.
Mm-hmm.
Nathaniel has a claim, and you want to respond to this?
Money is a real thing because we decided it's a real thing. I mean, it's a social construct, just like everything else in this world.
Fiat money.
It's even if it's gold backed, you're just exchanging it and deciding that gold is a rare resource that everybody wants. Everything's fabricated, nothing's real, everything is fake. We have decided that the way our markets are designed is we manage to the quarter, to the year, and boards have been incented to make decisions, short-term decisions, that are long-term detrimental to companies. Privately owned companies, so companies that are not publicly traded, have a much better track record because they can go to their owners and be like, hey, for the next 2 or 3 years, we're going to start sinking some money into some new ad campaigns. Say we're going to develop a couple new bikes. We're really going to put the pedal to the metal on these. We're not going to be able to distribute anything to you guys. But this is for the long-term health of the company. This is what we got to do. And all the owners are going to sit back and go, well, long-term, this makes a lot more sense because if they don't, then my share is going to be worth nothing. And what's the point of that? So they're able to go do that, and the owners are know what's going on, and all of a sudden, 5 years later, XYZ bike company now runs the market.
So this is why you've got the proliferation of leasing vehicles and subscriptions, because they know full well that once that product leaves their facility, unless they can recoup money every single month, that means nothing to them. If you buy it in one lump and that depreciates, it don't matter because the owner of that car is going to make the money on that. So as long as you've got a lease or a subscription or anything like that, such as
I'll never buy another car again. I will lease. We have one car that we own outright, and I lease mine.
Yeah, but that's how they get you. They've worked out that we need look at Netflix. I don't know. Trying to think of an example.
And we've moved from an ownership society to a subscription society.
Yeah.
No, but
DVD anymore.
But here's the deal, right? So the to get back to the Harley Davidson thing, because I totally agree with you, right? What they sold back in the 50s, 60s, and 70s was more of a lifestyle, and they tried to target a very specific and a very specific and very small subgroup in the society. While companies like Honda, Yamaha, they broadened out. They made a wide spectrum of different bikes for everybody. If you wanted a big cruiser, you could get a big cruiser. If you wanted a small city bike, you could get a small city bike. If you wanted a Vespa or a scooter, you could, get a Vespa or a scooter.
A dirt bike or a beach bike or...
Yeah. But Harley Davidson is stuck with, their big American iron cruisers.
To my knowledge, Harley never made 100cc.
What they tried actually, and this is what sort of obsessed me, because they did 750 Street. I think it started about 2016. I will have to fact check, but 2015, 2016. They made a mid-series bike, a 750 Street, which is basically a scaled down Sportster, very good street bike, but it didn't catch on because Honda's been making these bikes for 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
And if you wanted a lightweight street bike, you'd get a Yamaha or Honda for half the price, which is as good as that one. Or better, actually.
And then Trump swiftly kicked him in the nuts with his tariffs.
Yeah.
So
and then
you add on to Harley having higher costs, and then they ship their products to be built overseas, which totally tarnish their name as being American made. Well, to dodge all these tariffs and everything,
and it also brought the public against them because Harley's been saved by the American public quite a few times since the Reagan era, if I'm not mistaken. So it's sort of, they've asked for help from the American public quite a few times and they've been helped out, and all of a sudden, it's too expensive, and now they.
But this is why companies like Indian and Triumph went to the wall. I mean, Triumph is back now and Indian's back now, but in a totally different guise.
Mm-hmm.
But
at the same time,
came back when I was in my 20s. And they came back with a branding that tried to appeal to not only to my generation, but to my parents' generation, and then to make it cool enough for the people that saw it, the 10-year-olds, to want to buy one 10 years from now.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody wanted to buy a Porsche when we were 10 because of their branding.
So Indian, I don't know who relaunched Indian, but that guy should, get the Nobel Prize of fucking marketing, because the way that he fucking marketed the Scout for the younger generation, and then he took the Street Warrior out to the older generation, the way that they did that, bringing the Indian back, taking the old Indian into the new ones, is just it's fantastic. The way that it did that, the marketing campaign was wildly successful, and it was fantastic. They also bought a lot of stuff out of the Kawasaki Vulcan, so it's half Japanese, half American, even though it's sold on an Indian brand. The way that they did that, the way that they constructed the bikes. But here's the deal: for me as a bike rider, it's hard because I'm one of these guys who'd rather go out and spend $300,000 on a 1960s car that doesn't even take corners correctly because it gives me the fizz, right?
Yeah.
And that's why I ride Harleys. But I can't, on any level, on any objective level, I can't defend the fact that I've spent, now with the rebuild of the engine, $46,000 on my Harley.
But the thing is, it's a labour of love. Again, it's like a subscription.
Yeah.
You're paying to maintain that particular bike. Like for me, for instance, I would spend, if I had the money, I would go and these are cars you would never have heard of. A Series 1 Escort Turbo that is absolutely concours condition. I would spend 30 grand on that particular.
Oh, you want a Cossie? You want a Cossie?
But for me, I would love like a 1988 Lotus Elise.
Oh wow.
So but
beautiful car.
I can get one of those for $35,000. But they're going to cost me $5-6 grand a year.
Yeah.
In repairs. But I'm going to that knowing that. I mean, it's just not a surprise.
No.
I would love to import a 69 Charger, but like a Retcon 69 Charger with like modern running gear, airbags, modern steering, brakes, all that stuff. But the aesthetic being 69 Charger.
Mm-hmm. And everybody wants the 69 Mustang or the 66 Mustang, or everybody wants the
the Mach 1 fastback.
Yep.
But but hey, there you are.
Go watch TV.
But there's no defending.
He's having way too much fun.
Hey, Anders.
The Mach 1 is that weird sort of chimera of 70s and 80s that don't really work. You know what I mean? It's like it's got an 80s front end with a 70s back, and it's
no. The reason I like the Mach 1 is because the Mach 1 doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
It's a shockingly bad car.
Yeah, it's a shockingly bad car. But here's the deal. Here's what I want to get at is that. So when Harley started making these buybacks, is that only to, own the shares? So if the revenue goes down, it keeps going down because it's been going down for what now? 5, 8, 10 years, right?
Yeah, their revenue has been tanking.
Yeah, because there are
their
only
revenue per share has been going up because they've been spending all their profits on buybacks.
Yeah,
as Swede has just explained, if you make the share a more rare item, then it increases the price.
Yep. So
is this a good way or a bad way to save your company? Is this going to make Harley Davidson tank, or is this going to save them?
This is going to kill them.
It's going to kill them.
Going to kill them. Harley will need a bailout in the next 5 years, unless they change, something massive. But they're going to get vulture capital. I mean, it's not going to be pretty. I mean, that's my prediction. Please don't take any of this as financial advice ever. But
and this is definitely not the advice of the Bin podcast.
I don't think that anybody goes into the Bin podcast to get financial advice. I think you're safe.
You think?
But I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Harley is not the target of short sellers within the next 5 years.
Okay, so but here's what they tried to do this year, and this hurt. This hurts.
That looks like your Beamer.
No, do you know what that looks like? Do you know in Battlestar Galactica when they were at the second series and they went to Earth and had the flying bikes? That looks like one of them.
Well, that looks like the Beamer
GS 1200R. Yeah. Basically, it's called the Pan America, and it's one of the ugliest bikes that has ever. And if you get a choice between spending 30 grand on this or doing something that BMW's been doing for the last 15 years and been doing well, winning, the Dakar Rally, I don't know how many times, would you choose to buy a Harley Davidson? Is this really the market you want to get into?
No, I'd buy a GS 1,000 times over a Harley.
Yeah. And I'm a Harley rider, but if I want to get an Enduro bike, no fucking way. I'm going to buy an untested, all new, just released, first edition, $30,000 Harley.
You get a BMW Tourer all day long.
Yeah, you're gonna get you're gonna get the Africa Twin from Honda or the BMW GS 1200R. You're not going to do that. Can you please explain to me the economics benefit of them trying to take on a market that BMW Honda has been dominating? I don't get this.
The thing is, if they got it right, if they got it spot on, then they're geniuses. But if they don't, they're idiots. Yeah. So you got
and if their revenue was going up and they were doing this, it'd be a completely different story. But it's not.
Mm-hmm. So you got to say they're being idiots.
Yeah, I think that their way forward is if they try to go forward with the electric bikes that they released a couple of years ago. That tanked because who buys a Harley that doesn't make a sound? That's
I'll give you two counterpoints on the four-wheeled equivalent. So SUVs being made by Lamborghini and Bentley. No, not doing so well.
Everybody said that about Porsche too. The Porsche Cayenne's been pretty successful.
No, but the thing is, they diversified their range.
Yeah.
With Bentley
They also did the Panamera. They did, the Porsche did, the whole range where they started, making, a family sedan. They made a saloon car. They made a family car. They made an SUV. They went from being, the 911 sort of, that's all that we did, and then they diversified their whole range. They didn't just go from, having Aventadors and Huayras.
Porsche is owned by Volkswagen, in case you didn't know. Their deal.
Yeah, I know. It's basically, and Lamborghini is basically an Audi now.
Yeah.
Well, but that means they're all the same company.
Yeah. I spoke to a fellow the other day. You had
Audi's the parent.
He had a Camaro that he was fixing up, a 2018 Camaro that someone had hit him in the side, and I went over and spoke to him.
I just have to say, my prostate and my dick is fine, but I do have to make a wee.
Oh, all right. Yeah, so he got sideswiped in his Camaro, and I went and spoke to him about his. I'm interested in different cars. I love cars and American cars and stuff. And went and spoke to him, and I said, like, why wouldn't you get like a right-hand drive car over here, being as you live in England? He went, well, the only option I've got is a Mustang, and that's just a Mondeo in a different dress.
Yeah. And
that kind of said to me, yeah, if this is someone that knows what they're talking about, then yeah, what is the point in spending all that extra money for effectively a Mondeo?
I buy an A4 now because they're the exact same room on the interior than the A6. So they cannibalized the A6 to heck and back. And then they had to redesign the 6 this year because nobody was buying the 6.
Yeah.
Even though Jeremy Clarkson every year is like, oh, the A6 really is the car of the year, but it's so boring that we can't award it that.
I'm obligated right now to do my typical Jeremy Clarkson. Meanwhile,
while James May drives off a cliff
and calls everyone a cock,
and Richard Hammond drives up a mountain.
Richard Hammond is just going, Oliver.
Are we talking about Oliver all of a sudden? All right, so because I'm a Harley fan, so what would the best course of action for Harley Davidson be, in your opinion?
Stop buying back shares and start investing in what they're going to do next, and be straight with the shareholders that are like, look, we've been screwing up the last 5 years. We really need to stop paying dividends, and we really need to start investing in what the next line is going to be. Because right now our customer base is between 55 and 85 years old. They're either going to be buying their last bike or have bought their last bike. And right now, anyone my age really doesn't care about the Harley name. There's no significant population that is my age, and I'm 40, that gives a crap about the HD on the side of the bike. What we care about is that bike cheap enough to justify owning that plus a car, because here in the United States you have to own both unless you live in the inner city, and be able to afford that type of lifestyle and not be another expense to keep fixing over and over and over. So I just don't see their profitability being able to do that.
Would a good idea for them would be to, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but would a good idea for them to do what Lamborghini, Porsche, Ferrari has done? Go together with one of the bigger manufacturers of more diverse bikes, like Honda, Yamaha. Would that be the right way?
Their end game is to be bought. Their end game is to be bought by XYZ company. Let's say Hyundai buys them.
Yeah.
And then
we're spitballing this for free. And if they come along and do this, we ain't getting fuck all money out of it. So if this happens, we now at the BIM podcast are claiming that we came up with this idea. Thank you.
No, we didn't. No, Irish did. I am still trying to understand.
No. Irish is on board right now. He's on our platform, so we still get a share of his share.
But yeah,
and I have to say, just one note: Yamaha does not suck. They created most of the most fantastic engines that have ever been put in fucking vehicles over the last 30, 40 fucking years. It's a great fucking company, and they deliver great fucking stuff.
It's like Volkswagen with their 2.0.
Yeah. It's just their engines. It's just fantastic. Yes, they fucked up on sleds, right, with their chassis because they didn't have the technology to make chassis for sleds. But their engines, Jesus Christ, those things are immortal. They'll live longer than I do.
I don't know that there's a more reliable engine than one that comes out of either Honda or Yamaha or Audi with their 2.0.
Yeah, no, it's even Volvo bought Yamaha engines for the first XC90s that they made. The first fucking V8 engines that they put in the XC90, their top range model was a Yamaha engine.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ!
And I think Audi Volkswagen makes every single 2.0 on the market today. Even if you see it in Chevrolet or anywhere else, it's anything that's a 2.0 inline.
Well, it's based on that, on how they built it, you know, with you know, the guardrail, with the fuel injection system and all of that. Yes, and I have to say, you are right. Yes, speaking of Volvo, Ford ruined fucking Volvo.
Ford ruined Land Rover, Range Rover. Ford ruined
he said that. He said he said that earlier. Don't forget that Ford ruined Jag and Rover as well. Yes.
Yeah, and the most hilarious thing now is that the Queen Mobile is owned by an Indian company.
Yeah, that is funny. All right, I think that we're not gonna end the stream, but
India
I think that
owns England now.
I don't care.
the turntables.
Sorry, Kjartan, before you continue, that's like we exported cricket. Now they're better than us at cricket.
Yeah. It's you exported cricket to the Australians, and now you wanted to burn it down, so you have the Ashes game.
Exactly that. Colonialism.
That's your.
Don't get this podcast started on that. I heard you guys had a rough time with that one.
What?
Yeah, just me sitting there claiming we invented everything, but we fucked everything up.
Anyway, I should probably pop off if there's any other questions.
No, I think that I do really appreciate you coming on and explaining this. I think that I understand it a lot better now. Thank you. You for everybody watching, Harley Davidson is sort of, you know, one of my big digs, and I really wanted to understand it. And Irish Swede, he came in here and explained it to us. We appreciate you. Thank you for coming on, and we'd love to see you again soon.
All right, have a good one, guys. Thanks. Bye.
Cheers, Swede.
Bye. Wow. What a great guy that is.
And for anyone on the fence about joining our Patreon, we started off at vaccines and ended up at cars.
And Harleys. Hey, what you say that we do a 30-second break? We post a link to everybody who wants to join, and we'll keep it going for another hour and a half without, you know.
Well, what I would suggest you do then is cut this.
Yeah.
And then repost. Right, so this is a standalone, and then we'll go live with people that want to jump in.
Okay. Let's do that.
Yep. Resend me the link, and we'll go from
there. Final words for you, Wayne.
I haven't really got any. This is just such a random little European-esque post from us. Well, the second one. So it's nice to have a break from America, so to speak, in American politics. Yeah, it's very enjoyable. And Kjartan, thanks for wearing your hat that I got you.
Apparently, for the first time, I didn't even know.
Second time you've worn it.
It gives me shades on my face, and I look so much better with the light on it.
No, you look better with a burqa.
Oh, fuck off! All right, this has been the Bit Podcast, European Edition, Episode 2. We will be right back with an after show for Wayne and for me, Kjartan. We appreciate you for staying with us. We really love to see you in the after show. We will post a link. Hit us up on Wayne, which is over there, by the way. He has. How do I do this? I can't see my. No, where? Yeah, his Twitter handle over there.
Yeah.
And mine's over there.
Wayne A.
And mine over there. If you want to get into the after show, please hit us up. And of course, Dig on America. If you want to be on this and you want to be on the after show, of course, you can test your mic off stage.
Oh, there are certain people from Dig on America that I want to talk to.
I know you do. Dig on America. Please join us for the after show. This has been the Bin Podcast, European Edition, Episode 2. Thank you. Peace.
Bye-bye.